Okay, in this video we want to solve the initial value problem 2y double prime minus 3y prime plus y is equal to 0. And the initial value we have y parentheses 0 is equal to 2 and y prime 0 is equal to 1/2. So let's get started. In the last video we said that y double prime is represented by r squared, y prime is represented by r, and y is represented by 1. And so what we have here is 2r squared minus 3r plus 1 is equal to 0. We can factor this, so we can say 2r parentheses r parentheses, we can say -1, -1. This way we get 2r times r is 2r squared, -1 times -1 is 1, 2r times -1 is minus 2r, r times -1 is minus r, so that would be -3r. And so r would equal 1/2, or r is equal to 1. And so our general solution would be y is equal to c1e raised to 1/2 t plus c2e raised to 1 times t, so t. This is the general solution. But we have initial values, so we can actually solve this problem. We can solve for c1 and c2. And so we will get y prime, so we will differentiate this. And so that's going to be 1/2 c1 e raised to 1/2 t plus this would be c2 e raised to t. And so the next thing we're going to do is in both of these equations t is equal to 0, but for y it would be y is equal to 2, y is equal to 2, and y prime is equal to 1/2. And so we're simply just going to plug this into both of these equations to solve for c1 and c2. And so for the first one, y, we can say if t is 0, this would be 1, 1. And so it's going to be c1 plus c2 is equal to y. Y is 2. So this is the first equation. Second equation is this one. So we plug in 0, so we would get 1/2 c1 plus c2. So we would get 1/2 c1 plus c2 is equal to y prime, so 1/2. And this is our second equation. And I'm going to scroll down. And so the next step will be to use elimination method to solve for c1 and c2. And so I'm going to say c1 plus c2 is equal to 2. But in this line, I'm going to make everything minus. So I'll say minus 1/2 c1 minus c2 is equal to minus 1/2. This will eliminate c2. And so we will be left off with 1/2 c1 is equal to 3/2. And therefore c1 is equal to 3. And if c1 is equal to 3, we plug 3 back in. So c2 is equal to 2 minus 3. So c2 is equal to minus 1. And now we plug these two numbers in for this equation. And so our final answer will be y is equal to 3e raised to 1/2 t plus, well, actually minus e raised to t. And we'll box this answer in. And that's all we need to do for this problem.